What if there was a place where survival is harder than anywhere else on Earth? A land isolated for millions of years, where ancient predators still rule, where venom can kill in minutes, where fire, drought, and hunger shape every living creature, from the scorching deserts to the deepest rainforests, from deadly rivers to the endless ocean beyond. Every shadow hides a hunter. Every step could be the last. This is not a world made for the weak. This is Australia, a continent where only the toughest survive. And this season, as the land begins to burn, one young kangaroo, a desperate dingo pack, an ancient crocodile, and countless other creatures will face the greatest test of their lives. Because in the wild, nature doesn't give second chances. The first light of dawn burns across the red deserts of Australia. Here, survival is never guaranteed. Hot winds sweep across endless cracked earth. Dry grass trembles beneath the rising heat. The land appears silent, but beneath that silence, predators are already awake. Under the warm sand, an inland taipan slowly moves through a narrow burrow. Its scales blend perfectly with the desert floor. Every flick of its tongue tastes the air, searching for movement. It has not eaten for days. Far to the north, shrinking wetlands shimmer beneath the brutal sun. Muddy water ripples gently before becoming still again. A massive saltwater crocodile waits just below the surface. Only its eyes remain visible. Nearby, a flock of water birds steps carefully along the riverbank, unaware that the ancient predator is watching every movement with perfect patience. In this land, patience kills. High above the desert, a wedge-tailed eagle glides across the burning sky. Its enormous shadow passes over a group of red kangaroos feeding on the last patches of dry grass. One young kangaroo suddenly freezes. Its ears twitch. Something feels wrong. But danger in Australia does not only come from the sky. Inside a dark rainforest on the eastern coast, rainwater drips between stones and tangled roots. From a deep hidden tunnel, a funnel-web spider slowly emerges into the wet night air. Tiny, silent, deadly. Every creature here carries a weapon. Along the southern coastline, cold waves crash against black rocks while a young great white shark moves beneath the surface. Smooth and effortless, it circles through the dark water as seals swim above. It is still young, but instinct was born with it. Across this isolated continent, life has evolved into something ruthless. Venom, strength, speed, ambush. Only the most dangerous survive long enough to rule. And now the hottest season is arriving earlier than ever. The rivers are shrinking. The ground is drying. The hunters are growing restless. As red dust rises into the distant sky, Australia begins to change. And deep within the wild, something is coming. The sun rises earlier now. Across the dry heart of Australia, the heat grows heavier with each passing day. Rivers shrink. Mud hardens. The air itself feels sharp enough to burn, and the hunters can feel it. Beneath a dead tree deep in the desert, the inland taipan waits in silence. A thin desert rat moves carefully between cracked stones, searching for seeds. Too slow. In a flash of movement, the snake strikes. The bite lasts less than a second. The rat stumbles into the dust, collapsing moments later as the taipan disappears into the heat once more. Far north, the wetlands continue to shrink. Fish crowd together inside shallow, muddy pools trapped by the falling water level. The giant saltwater crocodile drifts closer. One powerful movement. Water explodes upward. A large fish disappears between crushing jaws. The swamp grows quieter after the attack. Even the birds stop calling. Meanwhile, far above the coastline, dark storm clouds gather over the ocean. Strong winds crash against the cliffs as the young great white shark follows a school of fish into rougher waters. But it is not alone. From the darkness below, a larger shark appears briefly beside it. Older, scarred, dominant. The young hunter quickly changes direction and vanishes into deeper water. In Australia, size decides everything. As night falls over the rainforest, movement begins beneath the wet forest floor. Funnel web spiders emerge from hidden tunnels, searching for insects escaping the rising heat. One small frog jumps across the leaves. The spider reacts instantly, gone within seconds. Above the forest canopy, the wedge-tailed eagle circles endlessly in the burning sky. Below, kangaroos are forced farther from safety to search for food. The young kangaroo from before follows the group carefully, unaware that hungry dingoes are now watching from the shadows. The dry season has only just begun, but already, the balance of the wild is starting to break, and across the ancient continent, every predator is becoming more dangerous. The heat no longer fades at night. Across Australia, the land continues to dry beneath an endless burning sky. Waterholes shrink into mud. Grass turns brittle. Even the wind feels thirsty, and now the wild begins to change. Near the edge of the desert, the young kangaroo struggles to keep up with the group. Food has become harder to find, forcing the mob farther into open land. Too exposed, too vulnerable. From behind dry bushes, a pair of hungry dingoes follow silently. Thin, patient, watching every movement. The young kangaroo senses danger. It freezes. The dingoes charge. Dust erupts across the ground as the mob scatters in panic. Powerful legs strike the earth. One dingo lunges forward. But the young kangaroo escapes between sharp rocks, disappearing into a narrow gap too small for the predators. For now, far away in the northern wetlands, the giant saltwater crocodile grows more aggressive. Smaller pools force animals closer together. A thirsty wild boar steps carefully into the muddy water. The surface explodes. Massive jaws clamp shut with terrifying force before dragging the animal beneath the swamp. The water quickly turns silent again. In the rainforest, the heat awakens hidden predators. Funnel-web spiders wander farther from their tunnels, searching for prey. Insects swarm through the humid darkness. But something else moves through the forest tonight. A massive cassowary steps between the trees, its powerful claws slicing through wet leaves. Even the smaller predators avoid its path. Deep offshore, the young great white shark continues hunting alone. But the ocean has grown rougher. Food is disappearing toward colder waters. Then, a violent current suddenly pulls through the reef. The shark turns sharply. Nearby, a giant shadow passes beneath the deep blue water, larger than before. Unknown, above the continent, dark smoke begins rising into the distant sky. At first only a thin line, then more. Dry lightning flashes beyond the horizon, and somewhere deep in the wilderness, the first fire begins to burn. Morning arrives beneath a sky filled with smoke. Across Australia, the dry season tightens its grip. Ash drifts through the wind. Small fires continue spreading across dead grasslands, forcing animals to move farther from safety. And the predators are waiting. The young kangaroo now travels far behind its group. Exhaustion slows every movement. Its paws strike burning ground as smoke thickens around the open plains. Somewhere nearby, the dingoes return. Hidden behind blackened bushes, the pack watches carefully. They are no longer patient. They are desperate. The alpha dingo steps forward first, thin ribs visible beneath dusty fur. Hunger has made the predators bolder. The chase begins again. Across the desert cliffs, the wedge-tailed eagle rides powerful streams of hot air rising from the burning land below. Its sharp eyes scan endlessly for weakness. Then it sees movement. A small lizard darts across exposed rocks. The eagle folds its wings and drops like a weapon from the sky. Far north, the wetlands have become deadly traps. Fish rot inside shrinking pools while crocodiles grow increasingly aggressive. The giant saltwater crocodile patrols the muddy shoreline alone. Even younger crocodiles avoid its territory now. A second crocodile enters the water. Too close. The giant male turns instantly. Water erupts as both predators collide with terrifying force. Tails smashing through the swamp in a violent explosion of mud and foam. Only one will control the last deep water. Meanwhile, deep within the rainforest, the heat continues driving creatures from hiding. Funnel web spiders spread across the damp forest floor while insects swarm through the thick, humid air. But tonight, another hunter awakens. A giant olive python slowly coils around a fallen tree branch, its tongue tasting the darkness. Above the canopy, smoke begins covering the moon itself. The fires are spreading faster now. And across Australia, the land is turning into a battlefield. The fires no longer move slowly. Across Australia, walls of flame race through dry forests and grasslands carried by violent winds. Trees explode into sparks. Smoke darkens the sky until day begins to look like night. Every creature is running now. The young kangaroo pushes forward through the burning plains, lungs struggling against the thick smoke. Around it, terrified animals flee in every direction. Snakes slide across the ash-covered ground. Birds burst from blackened trees. Even predators abandon their territories, but hunger still follows. Behind the fleeing herd, the dingo pack continues the chase. The alpha dingo limps slightly from exhaustion, yet its eyes remain locked on the young kangaroo. The fire has made hunting easier. There is nowhere left to hide. Far above the chaos, the wedge-tailed eagle circles through rising heat and smoke. Its sharp vision catches movement below, small animals trapped between advancing flames. The eagle dives again and disappears into the smoke. Near the northern swamps, the giant saltwater crocodile leaves its shrinking territory for the first time. Mud cracks beneath its enormous body as it drags itself toward deeper water farther inland. But another crocodile follows behind. The battle for survival is no longer over territory. Now it is simply about staying alive. Deep inside the rainforest, flames begin reaching the outer trees. Ash falls through the canopy like gray snow. The olive python slowly retreats higher into the branches while smaller animals scramble beneath it in panic. Then the forest goes silent. A low rumble rolls across the ground. From the darkness between the burning trees, a massive cassowary suddenly charges forward, crashing through smoke and fire with terrifying force. Nothing dares stand in its path. Out in the ocean, the young great white shark enters colder waters far from shore. The sea feels empty here, until faint vibrations travel through the water. The shark pauses. Below it, something enormous moves in the deep, larger than any predator it has ever seen. And as the fires continue spreading across the continent, Australia itself begins to feel alive, wild, burning, and merciless. The fires have consumed everything behind them. Across Australia, entire forests now stand black and silent beneath skies filled with smoke. Rivers have vanished. The air burns with heat even after sunset. Still, the survivors keep moving. The young kangaroo limps across a wasteland of ash and dead trees, separated from its group for the first time. Every sound feels dangerous now, and somewhere in the smoke, the dingoes are still following. The alpha dingo grows weaker with each passing hour. Hunger sharpens its desperation. The pack has failed too many hunts already. This time they cannot stop. Ahead, the young kangaroo reaches a narrow canyon, where a shallow river still survives beneath the cliffs. Water, but it is not alone. Hidden beneath the muddy surface, the giant saltwater crocodile waits silently after arriving from the destroyed wetlands. Its ancient eyes barely rise above the waterline. The kangaroo hesitates. Behind it, the dingoes emerge from the smoke. Forward means the crocodile. Backward means the pack. For a moment, the entire wilderness becomes still. Then the alpha dingo attacks. The young kangaroo leaps toward the river as the predators charge behind it. Mud explodes beneath pounding feet. The crocodile strikes instantly. Massive jaws burst from the water. One dingo disappears beneath the surface. The river erupts into chaos. The remaining pack retreats in panic while the current turns dark with mud and blood. The young kangaroo barely reaches the opposite side, collapsing among wet stones as smoke drifts overhead. Far above, the wedge-tailed eagle watches the battle from the cliffs in complete silence. Deep in the rainforest, flames finally consume the outer canopy. Animals flee into the final untouched shadows while the olive python disappears deeper into darkness. Out at sea, the young great white shark continues following cold currents southward. Then it sees it clearly for the first time. A colossal humpback whale moving slowly through the deep ocean. Not a predator, not prey, just another survivor crossing the endless wild. And across Australia, the land continues to burn. For the first time in many weeks, the wind begins to change. Across Australia, the great fires are finally weakening. Thick smoke still hangs over the land, but the endless walls of flame are gone. The wilderness is wounded, yet it is still alive. The young kangaroo wakes beside the rocky river where it escaped the dingo pack. Its body aches. Ash covers its fur. But somewhere beyond the canyon, faint sounds echo through the morning air. Other kangaroos. The herd survived. Slowly, it begins moving toward the distant calls. Far behind, the remaining dingoes wander across the burned plains. Their hunt is over. Hunger still follows them, but the fires have taken more than prey. They have taken strength. The alpha dingo pauses on a hill of blackened earth and looks across the silent landscape. The wilderness has changed, and so has the pack. Near the surviving river, the giant saltwater crocodile basks beneath weak sunlight. The water level is rising slightly. For the first time in months, fresh water flows downstream. The ancient predator remains motionless, waiting, watching. Life is returning. Above the cliffs, the wedge-tailed eagle rides a cool breeze moving inland from the ocean. Below, small animals cautiously emerge from burrows and hollow logs. The eagle sees opportunity. The land sees recovery. Deep within the rainforest, something remarkable begins. Tiny green shoots push through black soil. Fresh leaves appear on burned branches. The olive python glides silently through the recovering forest, passing signs of new life everywhere. The fire is gone. The forest remembers how to heal. Far out at sea, the young great white shark follows a school of fish through clear blue water. Food has returned. The ocean feels alive again. Nearby, the giant humpback whale continues its endless journey across the deep, disappearing slowly into sunlight beneath the waves. And as dark clouds gather above the continent, the first drops of rain begin to fall. Soft, gentle, a promise of renewal. Australia has survived, and a new season is about to begin. Rain falls across Australia for days. The water seeps into the burned earth. Rivers begin to swell. Dry creeks flow once more. Across the continent, life awakens from the edge of disaster. The season of fire is ending. The season of renewal has begun. In the grasslands, fresh green shoots spread across the blackened ground. Insects return first, filling the air with movement. Soon others follow. The young kangaroo finally reaches its herd. For a moment, it stands still among them, listening to familiar sounds it thought were lost forever. It survived, and now it is home. Not far away, the dingo pack moves through a greener landscape. The alpha dingo remains scarred and thinner than before, but prey has returned. The hunt continues. The wilderness offers no rewards, only another chance. Along the river, the giant saltwater crocodile watches new animals gather at the water's edge. Birds return to the wetlands. Fish move through deeper channels. The ancient predator remains exactly as it has always been, patient, enduring. Above the recovering land, the wedge-tailed eagle rides cool winds beneath clear blue skies. Its shadow passes over valleys filled with new growth. The scars remain, but so does life. Deep within the rainforest, green leaves now cover branches that once burned. Small animals move through the undergrowth. The olive python glides silently through a forest that feels alive again. The fire changed everything. Yet the forest survived. Far beyond the coast, the young great white shark has grown stronger. It follows migrating fish through healthy waters while the giant humpback whale continues its endless journey across the ocean. Their paths separate. Their stories continue. As the sun sets over Australia, golden light washes across deserts, forests, rivers, and sea. The continent looks peaceful once more. But beneath every shadow, every wave, and every blade of grass, the ancient struggle remains. Predator and prey, life and death, destruction and renewal. This is Australia. Wild, beautiful, unforgiving, and forever alive.